how did your crazy drawings work out? Yeah, were they pretty wild? I hope you didn't take yourself too seriously and you just had fun drawing crazy things. Okay, let's get back to Dr. Seuss. So remember, he meets this lady, Helen, and she suggests he should be an illustrator. And he's like, wait a second, maybe I should. And so he drops out of Oxford and moves back in with his parents in Massachusetts. He knows now what he wants to do with his life. He wants to be an illustrator. But now he just needs to figure out, how does one make money drawing pictures? So back at his parents' house, Ted spends lots of time drawing cartoons, writing funny articles, sends them to everybody he can think of. Magazines in New York, college friends, advertising agency, but no one except for Helen seems interested in flying cows and dancing dogs. But then, a famous magazine, the Saturday Evening Post, accepted a cartoon. Ted had drawn two elegant tourists with parasols. They were sitting on tame camels and imagining that they were brave explorers. He signed it simply, Seuss. The Post paid him $25. Even in 1927, that wasn't a lot of money, but it would pay the month's rent. Ted decided it was enough to show that he could earn a living as an illustrator. So with $25, he moves to New York City. But he still didn't really have a steady income, so he still couldn't marry Helen. He decides he wanted to marry Helen, but needed some money first. Instead, Ted shared an apartment with a friend from school. It was cheap and very dirty. Listen to this. Every single night before they went to bed, they had to take canes and whack rats. Oh, that is commitment to something that you love. His roommate knew someone who worked for Humor magazine called Judge. He introduced Ted and the magazine offered him a job. He could be a writer and an artist and earn a salary. Phew, now he could marry Helen. They changed their date once because Ted's sister was gonna have a baby. But finally, they got married. Ted became very popular at Judge. He started to write a column called Boys and Beasties, where he could introduce all his strange, playful creatures, and he signed the column Dr. Seuss. He added the doctor because he had disappointed his father by dropping out of Oxford. A lot of people become doctors of something at Oxford. Unfortunately, Judge magazine was having money troubles. They didn't always have enough cash to pay their staff, and companies paid for ads in Judge with samples of their products instead of money. These samples got passed on to staff as their salaries. Hey, sorry, I don't have money to pay you, but I can give you shaving cream. Which one do you think would be more important? Maybe the money so that you could pay your bills? It says once he received 1,872 nail clippers. That's not gonna pay the rent. But then in 1928, he had a stroke of luck. It started with Flit. This was a popular bug killer. Your grandparents might have heard of this. Before air conditioning, people had to leave their windows open in the summer to let in cool breezes. Houses became full of bugs. Ted started thinking about how awful summer must have been for the knights of old. It was bad enough having bugs inside. What if dragons could fly in and bite you? He drew a cartoon showing a knight in armor who can't get to sleep because there's a dragon in his room. The caption said, "Darn it all, another dragon, and just after I'd sprayed the whole castle with Flit." Well, the wife of an advertising executive for Flit was at a beauty salon and happened to see it. She loved it so much, she made her husband hire Ted to do all the Flit ads. Let me show you his first. So this is the ad that he drew. So it's like a medieval, funny looking guy coming in. And he's like, whoa, I need some bug repellent here. That was the start. That was his very first thing. And so he became one of the most successful advertising campaigns in history. He would just draw people in really funny situations being attacked by huge bugs. Today, most of us don't remember, but older people from the late 20s to 50s, so your grandparents most likely, knew the tagline that he invented called, "Quick, Henry, the Flit." I'm not sure if that's how it says because I wasn't that old. Comedians quoted it. It became in popular songs. Sales of Flit shot right up, and Dr. Seuss's drawings became very famous. Flit hired Ted with a salary of $12,000 a year, and that was a lot of money at the time. The next year, the stock market crashed, and America plunged into the Great Depression. All over the country, people were out of work, poor and starving, but thanks to Flit, Ted had lots of money. So let's just stop for a moment and let's talk about advertising today. So advertising has made a lot of changes. So the way that they used to advertise was in newspapers, because people would grab their morning newspaper and read through and be like, "Oh, Flit, I'm going to need some Flit." And then commercials came along, and I still remember a lot of the commercials from when I was a kid, because we didn't have like PVR where you can skip commercials or you just watch Netflix and there are no commercials. Commercials, advertising, they're the same thing. It's a way that companies get people to want to buy their product. You're like, "Oh my goodness, I see that, I'm hungry, I need to go get it. Let me go and get it now." That's how companies work. And so even now it's really changed a lot because we don't do TV as much. So we advertise through Instagram, we advertise. It's so important, advertising of just a logo of a company. That's a huge part of advertising. And so I'm gonna show you, we're gonna play a little game, and I'm gonna show you some pictures of different logos. And I want you to yell out, or if there's more than one of you in the house, write them down and see at the end if you get all of them correct. So the first one, are you ready? What's this? Did you guess McDonald's? Yeah, you're right. What about this one? The apple with the bite out of it. Right, it's Apple Computers. That's Al Capone again. We don't want him. Al Capone must be in the middle. Here we go. Okay, what about this lady? Do you know who she is? That's right, this is for Starbucks. Don't need no Starbucks. This one might be trickier depending on if you're a big shoe person. Did you guess Nike? Yeah, you're right. And a random eyeball. That was not a logo right now, but maybe it will be. Maybe it's like for some kind of contact or something. I don't know. Let's hear the rest and let's see. So Ted became really famous in his thing for practical jokes. Listen to some of the practical jokes that he did. Maybe you don't do these practical jokes because they're a little intense, but maybe you could do some kind of practical joke this week on your family. Once, he sneaked into the kitchen and put a huge plastic pearl in one of the oysters that was going to be served at dinner. Another time, he filled a friend's bathtub with Jell-O and goldfish. Oh my goodness. So Flit made Ted financially secure for life, but there was one problem. He didn't want to spend all his time drawing Flit ads, but his contract wouldn't let him do the other kind of work. Years later, he wrote, "I would like to say I went into children's book work because of my great understanding of children, but it wasn't really true. Actually, illustrating children's books was one of the few things my contract let me do." So it's crazy. He goes to all this work, has all this passion, and the reason that we can look back in history and see him as such an important literary success is because his contract, that was the only area that he was allowed to go into. And so that is how it started. So we're gonna see more of this story. But what I want you to do, this is your assignment for today. I want you to look around your house and I want you to find something interesting. So this is your first part. I want you to find something interesting and draw an advertisement for it. So for example, for him, it was bugs and bug spray. Whatever it might be, I want you just to draw, just like he would have done. It doesn't need to be fancy. It can be simple, it can be funny, whatever you think. And think of something funny that you could say about it. Like, why would somebody want to buy this? What is it about this product that they needed? So for him, it was the bugs. And then he thought, what if these bugs were huge like dragons and people need it? And so think outside the box and draw just like you're drawing and you're putting it in to a newspaper. Make people go like, oh my goodness, I need that. I want to buy this. Take your time, focus in, and have fun with it. The second thing now this one really excites me. I love doing anything creative that involves acting. And so you could do both of these things. You could decide one stream or the other. My recommendation is to do both. So we're doing some drawing with our thoughts, and then this one is fun. It's really fun, especially if you have siblings around that could do it alongside you, is make a commercial for a product in your house. So maybe it's a commercial for your Google. Hey Google, I don't know what it'll look like. Maybe it's a toothbrush ad or deodorant. My girls made a deodorant ad recently and it was so funny. It was talking about how much her pits stunk and I need this and this is why you need it. And I saw it and I was like, I think my pits stink. I'm pretty sure I need to go get some now too. That's what you want. You want people to see it and be like, yes, I need that ice cream right now because it's so delicious and look at that person eating it. It's incredible. And so remember, think of the person who would be watching it to know, hey, is this a product for kids? Is this a product for moms or dads or old people? Like, who is this for? And then think of a commercial in that regard so that people see it and say, hey, I see that. I love it. I need it. I cannot wait to see these commercials. Have so much fun with it. There's some really cool apps that you can do it on and you can learn how to edit. There's iMovie. There's, oh gosh, I can't even think of them offhand, but I'll put them below and maybe I'll do a follow-up video with my daughter to show you how to use them. Okay, because I don't know how to use them either. But I just know that it's really fun to edit movies. You can even just edit it straight on your parents' phone right there. But to add music and such, I'll get Sienna to come on and do a little demo for you. Thank you and have a great day.